My name is Robert Maguire. I'm the political nonprofit investigator at the Center for Responsive Politics. I'm here today to talk to you about the growing amount of unaccountable, undisclosed dark money in American elections and what we're going to do to make it easier to track in 2016. I work at the Center for Responsive Politics, best known for its website, opensecrets.org. We and our partners at GuideStar are nonpartisan, nonprofit organizations with a commitment to transparency. CRP has been the leading source of money in politics data for more than 30 years now, and our partners at GuideStar boast the most comprehensive digitized data for nonprofits in existence. Due to the nature of our research, it's important to point out that CRP does not accept contributions from corporations, unions, or political committees. And both CRP and GuideStar share a common vision with the Knight Foundation, and that's the idea that informed, engaged communities with access to the right tools can make the best decisions about their future. That's true whether you're talking about how voters cast their ballots or how philanthropists give their money. And we're coming together now to make it easier for journalists, academics, and the public at large to track the flow of dark money in elections. So, what is dark money? It's the hundreds of millions of dollars spent by nonprofit 501c organizations in American elections, and these organizations do not have to disclose their donors. In the early 2000s, these organizations spent a couple of $1 million a cycle. By the last 3 elections, that total has grown to combined about $600 million. Which is an incredible jump over what we used to see. And the issue is that tracking this money is incredibly difficult. But what we realized a few years ago is that the framing of the problem was wrong. It was discussed as Group A gives to Group B spends money on politics and then doesn't disclose its donors. We realized, though, that if Group A is a nonprofit, we could narrow down the number of possible Group A's and then meticulously go through their tax filings in which they have to disclose a contribution to some of these organizations. And that's just what we did. We started meticulously going through these filings, and we manually input, at this point, more than 30,000 records tracking all the top-level financials for all politically active nonprofits and their known donors, and going back in time, and we matched it all up to FEC-reported spending. So, we learned 2 overarching lessons here. We've learned a lot of little things, but we've learned 2 overarching lessons. The first is hundreds of millions of dollars every cycle flows through tangled networks of nonprofits that are constructed by Washington lawyers to make it as difficult as possible to know where money came from and where money went. And it's certainly near impossible to know which money ends up where. The second lesson we learned is more of a procedural one. We learned that the way that the IRS provides routine information to the public can best be summarized by the wisdom of the Chinese, who have an idiom for unnecessary complexity, 脱裤子放屁, which means it's like taking your pants off to fart. Before I dig into that, let me just discuss the way things should be. You want routine public information from the IRS, you go to a searchable database and you get that information, whether it's the filings or machine-readable data. Yet this is the nightmarish system that exists. It involves fax machines, paper requests, and DVDs that come in the mail, and almost no actual data. I just tweeted this flowchart if you want to read it at your leisure. It's completely accurate. So this is where GuideStar's repository of digitized data comes in. It allows us to change from the status quo in which we are producing, spending most of our time cultivating the data and providing limited tools, to a new system where the data comes to us. We spend less time inputting little pieces of data, and then we focus on tools and analysis that help the public, journalists, academics better understand this mind-numbingly complex issue. Because dark money isn't going anywhere. 2016 is already seeing new and creative ways for candidates and political operatives to spend without telling the corporations or individuals who are funding their campaigns. And the IRS and the FEC have all but admitted that they're not going to do anything about it. So if they're not going to, we'll do our best to fill the gap. But it won't be easy. We still have to work with new data structures. We still have a lot of hurdles to jump. But we look forward to being in touch with all of you as we move into this new phase of this important project, and hopefully collaborating with you in the future. Thank you.